Matthew Lillard had a little something to say about Stu Macher at a fan convention this weekend. Let's talk about it.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's going to go something like this.
So there was a Screamcast panel at this weekend's Calgary Expo, and Matthew Lillard was asked about him returning as Stu Macher to Scream 7 like he usually is. He always gets asked this question, and here's what he had to say. This is according to an article on Collider.com. The headline reads, Matthew Lillard is ready to return to Scream, but says it's not up to me. And he says, I stand at the ready to serve the franchise as it needs to be served. The article says, in the Scream fandom, there's one specific question that's been gnawing at us since the success of the original 1996 movie launched it into franchise status. Did Matthew Lillard's Stu Macher really die? While we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that Skeet Ulrich's Billy Loomis, the other half of the first Ghostface duo, succumbed to his wounds, no proof has been definitive enough to count Stu out of the game. The last time we saw him, Stu lay on the living room floor of his home after the events of the 42-minute house party scene that left him with a TV smashed onto his face. Let's be real, it's tough to survive the kind of TV fall that blindsided Stu. But the movies have done pretty insane things before to stretch the suspension of disbelief. And quite frankly, we're ready to believe that Stu survived. I love that this article pointed that out, that movies have done pretty insane things before to stretch the suspension of disbelief. Specifically Scream 6 and Scream 5 a little bit with Chad Meeks Martin. Chad has survived a total of 20-something stab wounds. I don't even know how many. And the fact that everyone survived Scream 6, Mindy, like that subway scene should have killed her. And Gail's scene should have killed her. But everyone survived. And I think that they're doing that on purpose to make it more believable that Stu could have survived his injuries. The article goes on to say, during the Screamcast panel at this weekend's Calgary Expo, Collider's Perry Nemiroff, I hope I'm saying that right, led a Q&A session where one of the attendees asked Lillard what he'd say to all those who think Stu is alive and well. Perhaps even relaxing on a beach somewhere with a pina colada. Ever the jokester, Lillard said, tonight at 8 o'clock, I'm going to drop a TV on my head. It's $75 for everyone to watch. The audience laughed and cheered, but no one was prepared for the serious answer the Five Nights at Freddy's star delivered next. He said, I stand at the ready to serve the franchise as it needs to be served. Here's the good news, they don't need me. I think it would be fun, but it's not up to me. The applause for Lillard's words was almost deafening as it was made obvious by the attendees of the panel that yes, while the franchise may not need Lillard to reprise his role, fans would love for it to happen. Okay, so let's break down what he said a little bit. Just to reiterate, he said, I stand at the ready to serve the franchise as it needs to be served. Here's the good news, they don't need me. I think it would be fun, but it's not up to me. So we know that for years and years, Matthew Lillard has been very vocal about the fact that Stu survived and I'm going to come back one day. There are several different clips on the internet of him saying this at different fan conventions and in different interviews. There's a couple virtual interviews that him and Skeet did together where he is very vocal about the fact that he thinks Stu survived and he will, in fact, be back one day.
How would you envision Stu returning to Scream 5?
Scarred. And whenever he comes back somewhere in the future, because that's what happens in horror movies all the time, they bring the killers back.
And I think now that it's really happening, he's changing his tune a little bit, where he seems a little more doubtful about it happening. But in my opinion, I think that's a good sign. Because if he's coming back, if he's in talks to come back, if it's already in the works where he's signed a contract, he's in the script, he's going to be in the movie, they would never in a million years say that. Why would anyone involved with Scream 7 say, yeah guys, by the way, Stu's coming back? No, that's gonna be one of the biggest plot twists in the history of the franchise and any movie really. That is gonna be one of the biggest plot twists. And they want people to be surprised. They're never going to admit this. So Matthew Lillard is not going to say, yeah guys, it's happening. I got the call for Scream 7. I'm definitely coming back. I think it's good that now he seems a little doubtful. He's sort of saying he's not going to be in it. That to me is a sign that he is coming back and he does not want to spoil it for fans. I do like though that he said, I stand at the ready to serve the franchise, because that means he's still down, he's still willing to return as Stu. And he also said they don't need me, which technically is true. They don't need him. They can just do another new story, new cast. But in my opinion, they do kind of need him. They need to change it up, do something different, do something big.
I want something big. I want something that says I'm here. Beyonce.
Especially with Neve Campbell coming back. Now's the time to do it, because we just never know if Neve Campbell is ever going to be back in the future. We know how quickly these things can change. She was originally supposed to be in Scream 6. There was a part in the script for her, and then she decided not to come back. So for all we know, this could be the last movie that Neve Campbell is involved in. And if Stu's going to come back, then Sydney needs to be in the story. Otherwise, there's just no point to bring him back, in my opinion. If it's just going to be some random cast that doesn't even know Stu, doesn't have a history with Stu, then there's just no point. And then the article goes on to say, Matthew Lillard is beyond grateful for the fandom. Rounding out his response to the question about Stu's potential comeback, Lillard took a moment to thank the crowd for their unwavering support for nearly 30 years, revealing what life truly looks like for him and his fellow castmates seated beside him. He said, the ebbs and flows of our careers are legit. One of the things I like about doing these is that I always think that it's important for us to articulate who we are and the reality of our lives, and this movie came along and changed all of our lives. If it wasn't for this movie, we certainly probably wouldn't be here. These moments are super important for feeding our kids and helping us get through these sort of ebbs and flows of life. So like Skeet said earlier, thank you so much for being here, for supporting us. I always love how much gratitude he shows to the fans, to the franchise. The article closes out by saying, while a moment during Scream 6 seemed to prove there was no way that Stu didn't survive the encounter with the clunky mid-90s TV set, we just hope Lillard's words are heard and that maybe, just maybe, we'll see one half of the dynamic duo back in action in the future. It also says stay tuned for more to come from the Calgary Expo. So maybe I'll be making more videos about this fan convention. But yeah, that's everything that Matthew Lillard had to say about Stu Macher's return to Scream 7 at this weekend's fan convention. What are your thoughts on all this? Leave a comment down below. Are you still pumped for the return of Stu Macher in Scream 7? I'm so excited. I think it's obvious that Matthew Lillard is gearing up for this. I also just want to point out an Instagram post that Matthew Lillard posted yesterday, I believe. I think he was like in a makeup chair on set, and the caption said something like, here we go again. Who am I playing this time? A good guy or a bad guy? Now, I don't know what role that could actually be, whether he's currently working on something else, or maybe it's Scream 7 and we just don't know anything yet. Maybe it's that new Mike Flanagan movie he's going to be in, The Life of Chuck. But I don't know, I think that was him teasing us a little bit. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. and hit that notification bell. Be sure to turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, Scream theories, Scream 7 updates. Any update that we get, I will be posting here on this channel. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I post a lot more content on my TikTok almost every day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.